So there's certain things that it kind of feeds you a little bit, and just there's a lot of context here, so I'm paraphrasing a lot of it, but it like just the going back and forth felt like a collaboration in some ways.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, see, I think that's like I said
but
already.
It terrified me, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the experience. I would rather actually speak with a human with human input, So that was the other thing too. It's like for a different kind of experience, and like just kind of seeing what AI can do. Like it was impressive to say the least. But I also feel like you can't beat that creative input of somebody who has spent countless hours doing something and then putting in and filling in the gap that you're missing, where you may not creatively see that just because, it's easy to have blinders on when you're working on something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you guys agree with that?
I do. Yeah. I mean, that's something that I've thought about is, the concern that artists have for, it comping their style or taking their jobs. It's so still, like you said, it can become something big, but it's still so new. We're talking about Caleb was talking about writing, getting either a chat GPT or whatever it's called to write things, and the shorter the better. It kind of trails off. It gets confused. It's the same with Midjourney. It doesn't do it as well as a real artist can do, because they can do the emotion. They can do the poses, the things that Midjourney can't do. At least it can't do easily.
So
mostly
and I think an artist understands like the storytelling aspect of comics versus like an AI, right?
Yeah.
Because go ahead, Johnny. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, well, and this kind of diverts the subject a little bit, but the dangers of something like this, character AI, is that like one of the profiles here is Adolf Hitler. That's like completely unnecessary.
Oh my God.
Not cool. Like, you know what I mean? So like that's where it's like, that there's obviously.
I guess if you're trying to break a villain character, you may want to talk to the
no use for going into that AI whatsoever.
Maybe it's just like a trap. Like if you click on it, just sends it a
the FBI gets a notice or something. Yeah.
Keep an eye on
I don't know. Like there's always going to be something that ruins a good thing, right?
Right.
So that's just, that's my little cherry on top of everything.
No, I mean, it's fascinating to hear about this, because all I've heard is like just about the AI. It's interesting to hear how it all works. And hearing Randall's experience where it's like not perfect, that is, I guess reassuring in some ways that like, there will still be work for artists and writers. Yeah. It's just some people are going to try it and then they're probably going to get frustrated,
Yeah. Like it's not like he was saying, like you can't just plug it in and then have a book. Like it's weird, but there's almost like a certain skill set of like having to use it, because you have to like figure out which prompts like will get the results that you want.
You almost have to have like a computer science degree or something.
Yeah. You have to be wildly descriptive. Like I found myself having to rephrase a lot when I was interacting with it. I'm sure, Randall, you can attest to that, where you're like, I need to put an extra emphasis on this part here or whatever.
Yeah. If I want emotion, I want someone to smile or laugh, to look like they're laughing. I discovered if you repeat it, like if I were to put at the end, their emotion at the end, they're smiling, they're happy. And it gives me a stoic face. There's nothing. I repeat it at the beginning, happy, smiling. And I might even repeat it again a third time so that it gets it. Oh, you wanted to be happy. Okay. And then suddenly I got all these teeth because it's overdone. Gotcha. So it's a balancing act sometimes. We were talking about, I had a thought about, through history, there's been so many things that have come out, when digital photography came out, photographers were worried that digital photography would take over. And I think that over time that certainly has probably been the case. A lot of people have switched to digital photography, but there are places where traditional photography is still used with agencies or weddings or whatever. I'm not a photographer, so I couldn't tell you, but I know that was a big change in art. When Instagram was introduced, I think there was also a worry that with all these pretty filters that it would be a major change. But I don't think that really took away from photographers, because anybody can click a photo and take a picture, but it's not a photo. And then I think when digital art, illustrators started to do digital art for comics or otherwise, I would assume that artists, there may have been some artists that were offended or bothered by that, because it wasn't pen on paper, it wasn't paintbrush on canvas. And a lot of artists have moved to that. Silvio, that does Whitaker Knox, does it all digitally, but he's a fantastic, pencil on paper artist as well, but he does it all digitally because it's faster. So I think that's happened a lot, where people have been upset, oh my god, digital art or digital photography or whatever the case may be. And I know AI has its own issues, but I think it's something that we'll either get past because it will die away, or it'll get better and people will embrace it.
Yeah, it'll be either like 3D movies or actually applied. Right. But yeah, and it almost makes like the more analog equivalent like that much more special too. Like Tarantino still shoots on film, and like his movies have like that look that makes them so distinct.
Yeah, I think you're right too. Yeah, about that. Yeah, there's always going to be, like, even me with like reading comics, I don't generally read digital. I still like to hold the book in my hand and be able to like scan right across the page. And there's something about like not being on the computer screen when I read the comic. It like, I don't know. It's something I think.
I agree.
But it's also like, I think, personal preference too. Like some people are gonna gravitate towards the new technology, and other people are gonna be like, pushing it away hard, which is what we're seeing online now, with a lot of people fighting about AI and, But I think if you embrace that, using it as a tool, like the way you guys have been describing, and Johnny, the way you were talking about with the writing side of it, I think that's it's not bad, so I don't know.